Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday night. We begin tonight with President Biden visiting the United Nations to make the case for the rest of the world to continue its support for Ukraine in its ongoing war against Russia. The president spoke before the United Nations General Assembly and urged world leaders to remain united and stand with the people of Ukraine against Russia's illegal war. Ukraine's President Zelenskyy also appeared in person for the first time since the war began to warn that unless Russia is stopped, Ukraine won't be the last country to face this kind of aggression. Zelenskyy will travel later this week to right here in Washington to visit the White House and Capitol Hill in a bid for continued funding and weapons from Congress. CBS's Nancy Cordes reports tonight from the United Nations.
Evil cannot be trusted.
Speaking in English and in person, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy warned more than 100 world leaders that Russia might come for their countries next if it isn't stopped in Ukraine.
And the goal of the present war against Ukraine is to turn our lands, our people, our lives, our resources into a weapon against you, against the international rules-based order.
Ukraine has already received hundreds of billions of dollars in international aid. But as the conflict moves into its 19th month, there are concerns global coffers could dry up. At the UN, President Biden argued today that's just what Putin is counting on.
Russia believes that the world will grow weary and allow it to brutalize Ukraine without consequence.
And yet, even in the U.S., some Republicans still aren't sold on another $24 billion aid package.
Where's the accountability on the money we already spent? What is the plan for victory? I think that's what the American public wants to know.
Over the past 4 months, Ukraine has managed to retake pockets of territory using weapons from the U.S. and other allies. But it's slow going because the Russians have seeded minefields like this one all along the 600-mile front line. Today at the UN, a Russian official in the hall kept his eyes on his phone as Zelenskyy accused his country of kidnapping hundreds of thousands of children.
We are trying to get children back home, but time goes by. What will happen with them? Those children in Russia are taught to hate Ukraine.
As he spoke, 5 Americans were celebrating their first day back on U.S. soil, freed from captivity in Iran as part of a prisoner swap brokered by the Biden administration.
I'm so happy.
Siamak Namozi was reunited with his brother after nearly 8 years behind bars.
So grateful. It's just, you feel like it's a dream. The nightmare is finally over.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy knows he needs to convince U.S. leaders in Congress that Ukraine is spending U.S. dollars wisely. Just yesterday, he fired all 6 of his deputy defense ministers as he continues to work to root out corruption in a department that is suddenly flush with foreign cash. Norah?
That corruption will be a story. Nancy Cordes, thank you.